Good morning! Welcome to Chocolate Week here at 3milelaneco. It is Chocolate Week because one of the days this week, and I don't remember which one, is National Chocolate Day. So, you definitely guessed it. I have to get onto that train right now because like I live on that train. I sleep on that train. Today I thought that I would show you the product development of one of my stickers. I'm going to be making a chocolate cake sticker today, and I just wanted to kind of take you along and show you that process. So I'm gonna go put on a face real quick and I will be right back. That's better. I just got finished getting ready. It's about 9:30 and I'm getting ready to turn on my computer for the first time today and get my Cricuts open and going. I have some sticker orders to print off and I have a whole bunch of orders to pack. So that's priority number one this morning, and then we'll get into the sticker. So let's do this. We were able to get all of the orders out this morning that we needed to get out, and now I'm finally ready at 2:30 p.m. to start working on my chocolate cake sticker. So back in October was my husband and my son's birthday, and we had a joint party for them. So I decided to make a chocolate cake from scratch, and that is the picture or the inspiration for my sticker that I'm going to use. I will turn you around and we'll go through a couple of the steps in Procreate that I'm going to use to make this sticker, and then I'll probably just time lapse the majority of it. If you're interested in learning how I use Procreate and what I do in there and everything that I use, I am thinking about coming out with some courses very soon. There are so many different ways that people are using this program. It's an amazing program. It has a lot of awesome capabilities, and I am doing a lot of different things with it. So if you're interested in seeing how I use it, let me know in the comments if a course would be something that you would be interested in checking out. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and dive into this chocolate cake. Welcome to my chocolate cake. So this is the chocolate cake that I made for my husband's birthday back in October last year. And it is the cake that I'm going to use as my inspiration for my sticker. Now I'm not gonna do everything exactly how it is here. I'm gonna change it up a little bit, but I'm going to use the chocolate texture and the colors and the style of frosting that I did on this cake for my inspiration. I'm going to copy this so that it is right up and front in my clipboard thing. So I just clicked on the little export, and then I hit copy. So I'm gonna go straight into Procreate, and I'm going to open up a canvas, and then I'm going to simply go to add and paste. And it will paste my picture directly onto my canvas. I'm going to take the chocolate cake and I'm going to make it a little smaller. So I'm just gonna kind of put it up here in the corner. On a new layer, I have black selected. I always like to work with black, and then I go back and color in what I need to when I need to. And I'm going to actually do the outlining first, and then I'm gonna color in at the end. So I like to use the Fraisonet brush. That's one of my favorite brushes to use. So now I want to do a pretty traditional looking cake, but I do want to be able to see more than just a side profile. So I'm actually going to start with an oval, and if I hold down, it will give me a very good solid ellipse shape. And then I'm going to duplicate that, and then I'm going to bring this down, and as long as I have magnetics selected, I will be able to make these very proportionate and even all the way down. And then I'm going to draw in my sides, and this is a very home feel kind of cake, so I'm going to make the sides a little rounded. And we do have some space in between where the frosting is, but I'm just going to draw that in. I'm not going to worry about leaving a space for it. There we go. That is starting to look like a delicious cake already, and we're not even anywhere yet. I'm going to take my eraser tool, and for my eraser, I just use a large monoline that I've modified, and I'm just gonna come in, and actually we could go a little smaller to get into the nooks and crannies, and I'm just going to erase the lines where I don't want them to show. And then I'm gonna make the eraser a little bit bigger so that I can go in and get all of those chunks. All right, there's the start to our cake. It's looking delicious already. So now what I'm going to do is I want to add the little florets up on the top of the cake and the letters and the candles. And then I'll go back through and I'll add my detail and fill in with some color. So I'm gonna go to a new layer, and the first thing I wanna do is get this yay. And I am going to make sure I'm on my brush, and that's a good weight. I'm going to turn the opacity down on that layer so that I can see where I'm drawing with the black selected. So I'm just gonna go in and trace over this. I could use any text really for this part, and then you could just turn it into bubble letters. But since this is all ready to go, I'm just gonna go ahead and cheat a little bit and do it this way. And for the top, I'm actually gonna make it look like it's lit. So I'm just gonna bring up a couple wicks of my own, like that. Okay. So now I'm going to transfer that to the top of my cake. And then when I color that in, you won't be able to see the black line, so I'm not gonna waste my time erasing it because the color will cover up the black in the background. All right, so now that we have that, let's do our candles. And again, same thing, I'm gonna add a new layer, and I'm just gonna come in here and trace the candles. The wicks in the foreground, you want to be a little bit bigger because the candles are technically bigger when they're closer to you, and then they're smaller when they're farther away. So the background is just gonna have little very small wicks, and the foreground is gonna have larger wicks. And again, we can move that on top of our cake and make it a little bigger. Okay, and again, I'm not going to worry about erasing any lines because once I get those filled in with color, it won't matter. So there are the basics. Now I want to go in and add my little rosettes to the top. So again, we're going to do a new layer. We're going to come back over to our inspiration photo, and I'm actually going to take as much detail from the picture as I can. I'm going to leave the sprinkles off for now, so I'm not going to draw those in, but I am just going to kind of fill in around where all of that detail is to try and get the floral aspect of this chocolate rosette. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to take that and bring that over to my cake and put that right here. And then I'm going to just go ahead and duplicate, and I'm just going to reuse these florets around the cake. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and group all of them by swiping right on all the layers and hitting group. And then I'm going to rename that floret. And then I'm going to take the florets and the candles, and I'm going to drag them underneath the yay. The yay is kind of the forefront. That's the layer that is closest to our eye. And then the florets are behind that, and then the candles are kind of behind both of those. So, but they're on top of our cake. So that's what I'm gonna use for that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and draw in some more of the detail. So we have the crumble kind of effect on the cake, and then we have more texture on the frosting. And again, I think I might leave the sprinkles off. I haven't decided yet. So we want to make sure that this layer is on top of our cake but below everything else. So I'm going to add a layer in between. And now I'm going to add the crumbly cake texture. And I'm just going to go ahead and try my best to just replicate the photo. And we're going to go like this. Oh, and actually let's go ahead and bring our brush back up to about the 2% mark. Maybe a little lower. Okay. Okay, so there's kind of where the lighter part of the cake texture is going to be. And now I'm going to kind of come in on another layer and I'm going to fill in kind of where the gloopiness of the frosting is going to be. So we're just going to kind of make that come down here. And then the edges are super rough because it is just a home frosted cake. And then we're going to add some frosting in between. And again, once we get the color in here, everything will really start coming together. So there's our basic shapes. Now we're going to bring in some color. So I'm going to turn the opacity of that main cake layer back on so that I can start drawing my colors out of the actual picture. So we're going to start with the gold on the letters, and I want it to be kind of a lighter color of the gold so that I can fill in with shadows after. I'm going to create a new layer underneath the layer I'm coloring on so that I can keep them separate and it's easy to make changes if I want to. So now with my same brush, I'm just going to come in and see how it's filling in over those layers that we didn't want to have shown. So we don't have to worry about doing all that erasing. It was just at the initial onset. So there's the lightest, and now I'm going to come in and grab this darker color for the shadows. All right, so there's our yay! Oh, it's looking really good so far. So now I want to add some highlights. So on top of the color layer, but below the outline layer, I'm going to grab the lightest color from our palette here, which is this one. And on that new layer, I'm just going to make some swipes, just like this. And now we're going to use the adjustments tool to add a Gaussian blur to that. We don't want it too much, just a little. And then we're going to add a clipping mask. Now, a clipping mask is a way to make sure that this image, the image below that layer, clips whatever you draw on top so that it doesn't go out of bounds of that layer, if that makes any sense. Love using clipping masks. So now it's just clipped to that perfectly. Looks so good. Now I'm going to color in the candles, and then I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of my coloring in, and then we'll add some texture and go from there.
Oh my goodness, look at our cake. I think it looks so good.
So, you know, artistic expression, I kind of just like the mottled, really rough, rustic look of the side of the cake here. And even though the colors are slightly off in different places, I really think that it looks pretty darn good. And I'm happy with how it came out. I wanted to make sure that I used different browns to incorporate the different areas of the cake and what everything looked like. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm pretty pleased with how it came out. So before I outline it, I do want to add flames to my candles. So I'm actually going to make a new layer. I'm gonna grab like an orangey yellow, and then I'm gonna come down to the elements library, and I'm going to click on flames. And I really like using this flames brush because it looks just like what you would think a candle flame would look like. So I'm actually going to light these. Okay, I think that really completes it now that it's all lit up. So now we can go ahead and get to our background. And there is our chocolate cake sticker. I am so happy with how it turned out. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure that you follow me over on Instagram so that you can see when I post my actual finished sticker. I am so excited with how this came out, and I hope you guys love it too. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon so you can be notified of future videos, and don't forget to leave me a comment. Let me know what your favorite kind of cake is. If you've watched it all the way through this video, I really appreciate you, and drop me a cake emoji down in the comments. I will see you on the next video. Bye!